welcome back to Book Break. My name is Emma from the channel Drinking by My Shelf, and today Book Break have asked me to come on and talk to you about my favourite genre of books in the world, and that is thrillers. I am a massive fan of scary books, tense books that keep me up reading all night, too scared to turn the lights off. I love that kind of thing. And thriller books are super popular at the moment, but the genre of thrillers is actually pretty huge. So if you've never read a thriller before, it can be pretty daunting to know where to start. What kind of thriller are you gonna like? So that's why today I'm gonna give you a whirlwind tour through the whole crime and thriller genre and help you find the perfect place to start. One of the most popular genres at the moment is the psychological thriller. Books like Gone Girl, Girl on the Train, it seems like the whole world is reading them. And the reason that I love psychological thrillers so much, and the reason that they're so scary, is they're about the worst side of humans. Psychological thrillers explore the things humans do to each other, the ways that we manipulate each other, and the extremes to which that can go. So if that sounds your kind of thing, if you want to read a book that will make you never trust any of your friends and family ever again, I've got a couple of recommendations for you. One of my favourite books of this genre is I See You by Claire McIntosh. The premise of this book is that women are being stalked on the London Underground. They commute to work, and because they do the same thing every day, it means that someone can watch them and know exactly where they're going to be when. This book takes something as mundane and boring as your morning route to work and turns it into the scariest tube ride of your life. And another book that takes something super relatable and makes it terrifying is The Girlfriend by Michelle Francis. This one is told from two points of view, the mother and the girlfriend of this guy Daniel. And the slightly competitive relationship between a mother and a girlfriend is something that a lot of people experience, but this book pushes it to the darkest place it could go. Now, if you're feeling brave, I have one more psychological thriller recommendation for you, and this one gets really creepy. This is All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker. Before the start of this book, a teenager named Jenny was brutally attacked one night, and her parents were given the option at the hospital that they could erase her memories of the attack so that she wouldn't be traumatized by it. So now, where we meet Jenny in the book is she knows this thing happened to her, but she can't remember the experience, and she can't identify her attacker. What makes this book so particularly eerie is the way that it's told. It's narrated by somebody not in Jenny's family, but who seems to know them very intimately, and it's revealed about halfway through who that person is, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it is somebody connected with their family, and the various roles that this person plays in their life becomes creepier and creepier as the book goes on. So those are a few psychological thrillers, and now I'm going to move to a totally different end of the spectrum, where those books were told from the perspective of the victims that these terrifying things were happening to. We're now going to move over to books about criminals. So one interesting genre that a lot of people love is the true crime genre, and one of the most famous examples of this is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. This book tells the true story of a family who were murdered in their home in a small town in Kansas, seemingly for no reason. And it really blurs the lines between fiction and non-fiction, because it reads like a novel, but it is actually all true. It all comes from interviews and research, and it follows the case right the way from what motivated these two men to commit these murders, all the way up to the court case and their eventual sentence. This one's a very well-told story, and if you're interested in the true crime genre, this is a good place to start. Or, moving back to fiction, you've got books like You Don't Know Me by Imran Mahmood, and this is a really fun novel if you like the crime side of things. The whole novel is told as the closing statement of a man accused of murder, and while reading it, especially if you listen to it on audiobook, which I do recommend, you feel like you're a member of the jury. So the whole way through, it's like it's up to you to decide, is he guilty? And then we've got books that combine both of those and are split between the perspectives of the victims and the detectives. One great example is The Child by Fiona Barton, and this follows the mystery of a skeleton of a baby that's found hidden under a building. And it's actually told from quite a few different perspectives. One of the main ones is the journalist who's trying to uncover the story, but you also hear from a woman whose newborn baby was stolen from the hospital decades ago. You hear from a few different women who lived on the street where the baby was found, and all of these stories will merge together in pretty unexpected ways, but it's basically up to Kate Waters, the journalist, to bring them all together and figure out what actually happened. Or another example a bit like that, if you like books set in the past, is Little Deaths by Emma Flint. This is set in New York in the 60s, and the mystery here is about two children, a young girl and a young boy, who were missing one morning. They weren't in their beds, and a few weeks later their bodies are found. Everyone suspects the mother, who was a controversial figure because she drank a lot and went out with a lot of men, and the story is split between her perspective and that of a journalist who's really captivated by this woman and wants to find out what actually happened. Okay, now I'm going to talk about those super tense books that will get your heart racing. One particularly cool book that came out this summer is Fierce Kingdom by Phillips, and this one's particularly tense because the whole novel takes place just over the course of 3 hours, while a mother and her child are trapped hiding in the zoo from a mass shooter. This is one of those books that you really can't put down because it feels like it's told in real time. You feel like you're there in the zoo with them, and you will not be able to breathe freely again until you've got all the way through it. Another book that's got that same type of tension is The Marsh King's Daughter by Dionne, and this one is told over the course of one night, but it does then also have flashbacks. So the flashbacks tell the story of Helena's childhood in captivity. She was born to a woman who had been kidnapped and was being held prisoner by this man who Helena knows as her father. And for most of her childhood, she didn't understand that's what was happening. She was afraid of her father, but she also loved him, and he taught her how to hunt, and they would play this game where she would have to track him. In the present day timeline, we know that they did eventually escape and that her father went to prison. But at the start of the novel, we hear that her father has escaped. So that present-day timeline takes place over the course of one night, while Helena realises that she is the only person who will be able to track down her father. And then, while we're talking about those tense, action-packed books, if you want a book that has all of that, but also injects a bit of fun into it, I've got the perfect recommendation. Final Girls by Riley Sager is the novel equivalent of those 90s slasher movies like Scream. If you're a fan of those, you are going to love this book. The name Final Girls is a reference to that horror movie trope about the last girl left alive, and this book is about a girl who 10 years before was the final girl in a horrific attack where all of her friends were murdered in a cabin in the woods. Serious slasher movie stuff. And it really is a lot like Scream the movie, where it's slightly making fun of all those tropes, but also really paying tribute to them because there's a reason they're so popular, we love them. Anyway, Quincy survived the attack 10 years ago and then has become one of 3 famous final girls in the media. But now in present day, somebody is out to murder the final girls, and she's going to have to survive all over again. Now, if you want to take the scary to a whole new level, you can cross over into the horror genre. And I've got a book recommendation for you here that's perfectly on that line between thriller and horror. The Apartment by S.L. Gray is about a couple who go on a house swap. So they find this other couple online who have an apartment in Paris, and they decide they want to go for a weekend getaway. But when they get there, the apartment is nothing like they imagined. It is strange and dark and creepy. There's a very mysterious neighbour upstairs who keeps telling them they shouldn't stay, and their neighbours back home keep telling them that this couple never showed up for their side of the house swap. Now, this is a book that literally had me sleeping with the lights on because I was so scared. It's got the perfect level of bringing in supernatural elements, but still leaving you questioning, is it something actually supernatural going on, or is it all in their heads? But if that sounded much too terrifying for you, don't worry, I've now got the total opposite to talk about. So on the other end of the scale from the horror side of things is the cozy mystery. And a really fun one I read recently is The Night the Lights Went Out by Karen White. This is set in a small town in Georgia where the main character Merrily has just moved, and a lot of the book is just about falling in love with their traditions and their sweet iced tea recipes. But there is also a mystery element. Somebody is writing a blog about Merrily's life, and as more and more suspicious things seem to happen around her, she may end up being framed for a dangerous crime. A lot of it is about unravelling the town's history and all the mysteries that happened in the generations before, and I really loved all the way those storylines came together. This book has got some seriously tense, exciting moments, so it's a perfect introduction to thrillers and mysteries if you don't want to be scared. And then finally, for the young adult fans, don't worry, there are of course YA thrillers if you usually prefer to read YA books. One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus is a really fun mystery. It's like The Breakfast Club, but with murders in it. It begins in detention, where a group of students from very different cliques around their high school have all been drawn together, and one of them is going to get murdered. The rest of the book is divided between each of their perspectives as we try to figure out who did it. It's really good fun, it'll keep you guessing till the end, you'll fall in love with all of the characters, and it's got really cool red pages. And the last book I'm going to talk about is another YA thriller. This is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This book is about a teenage girl called Cadence who's lost her memories after she knows that something terrible happened to her a few summers ago. The book is set on her family's private island, and you will get so drawn into their rich and glamorous and tragic lives. As the summer goes on, Cadence slowly begins to unravel and remember what happens, and it will change everything. So that was my whirlwind tour through the many varied types of books you will find in the thriller genre, and I hope you liked the sound of one of those. All kinds of different readers can enjoy thrillers, and hopefully you'll end up becoming as hopelessly obsessed with them as I am. And I'd love to know some of your guys' favourite thrillers, so do leave some recommendations in the comments below and I will go through and read all of them. And of course, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That's all from me!